So an alternative way to get out a pilot bearing but you got to have the right hook on the end of it. Right there. Just pull a little bit and then pull it out. But this is if you have the SST. If you don't have the bimbo bread.
The bimbo bread.
Now, how you want to drive the new one in, eh? Anybody got any good ideas? You clean this up. So we got to take this new pilot bushing. This is a true bushing, not a bearing. And the real simple way, come over here, the toolbox, and we're gonna find something that is a hair smaller. Look at, that's real darn close right there, boy. I'll tell you what. You gonna be told what? What? All right, so I'm gonna say that one's real close, but this one's seems about the same. Out of order? Yeah, it's freaking out of order. Who's in charge around here? And this one actually is perfect. So you'll notice this socket is just a hair smaller. You probably even can't even tell, but we don't want it to be bigger because then it'll get wedged in the bore in the crankshaft. So just a tiny bit smaller. And usually I'd like to put an extension on it, but we're gonna tap it straight on the socket. And let's see if we're ready. How we looking? We kind of cleaned up? Yeah. It's okay to have some grease. Generally, we don't want a ton of grease on the outside. It'd be more like we're definitely going to grease the inside, but we're going to use the special grease to do that. So I'm going to set it there to start. And this hammer is really overkill. I'm going to go a smaller hammer, something I can control a little bit better. I'm going to lose the COVID shield. Don't tell anybody.
Uh-oh.
All right. Gavin Newsom would be disappointed.
Very.
Okay, so I'm just going to start it, make sure I get it kind of going in there nice and square.
Oh, we got it on? Oh.
You did, yeah, with the puller. And then once I get it kind of in there, I'm going to start to really carefully hit it. It's not about fast, it's about straight. And then I made a mental note of about how far it was in. It was just a little past flush. You can even flip it around.
What happens if it goes too far in? Pull it back out?
No, it was a little further. It actually even left a little mark. We're almost to the mark that's inside the crankshaft. Just a tiny bit. So I am going to go a tiny bit more. Poquito más, yeah? And I'm good on that one right there. So it wasn't real technical. You know, being that everything in the clutch is high temperature grease, we're going to use the special high temperature grease. And so we'll give it one more little wipe. You know, we had some grease in there because we were trying to hydraulic tap it out. But that one was big enough we could put the little slide hammer in. Just going to give it a little bit of grease. So, or if you didn't want to grease that, where's your transmission at, man? We could grease the input shaft too. Here it is, right here. Keep it right there. So we could also just hit the input shaft right here, because the input shaft is what's landing in that pilot bushing. We've already done all the proper grease procedures. That's kind of a, you know, I guess we might as well talk about it, huh? So we cleaned up this sleeve right here. We cleaned up these splines. We cleaned up this bell housing. We used a special high temperature grease. It comes with the clutch kit, or you know what? It's real close to this. Ceramic Extreme Brake Parts Lubricant. It's high temperature stuff. Put a little tiny bit on the splines. It looks like there's a lot, but there's really not that much on there. A little bit on the sleeve. A blob of it on the pivot for the release fork. A blob of it right here where the slave cylinder is going to contact. And then you're pretty much ready to go. A little grease goes a long way. We're gonna go ahead and Get the clutch installation tool, center the clutch, put the clutch on, put the pressure plate on, torque it in a sequence to spec, and then you're ready to swing this around and put it in. That's a different video. Now continue almost.